Hi everyone, Joseph Tartaglia for Philadelphia Mayor, and if you care about Kensington and the condition of it, watch the rest of this video. This is my analysis on David O's proposals for Kensington. Stay tuned.
You have to stop the drug addiction. You have to stop the abuse that they go through. You have to do that very quickly. The best thing is they never got on it. But if we get rid of Kensington Avenue as a place that exists in this region, the better off people will be.
So we're already off to a rocky start by saying that people would be better off if Kensington wasn't a location that was in our region. But I assume that you meant a place where you could get drugs in our region. But that just begs the question of which location in our region should be the place to get drugs. I think you're looking at this the wrong way.
What has happened over the last 10 years has been unprecedented.
Just a disclaimer, I'm going to be speeding up the redundant and long drawn out parts of this video.
In terms of the explosion of drug addiction and everything that is associated with it, including violent crime, prostitution, quality of life issues, people unable to leave their homes, and increased things like dumping, illegal tractor trailers being parked, and other types of harm. My name's David O. I'm a former 3-term council person. That is that I've served for 11 years, but I resigned to run for mayor.
Not that this correlates or anything, it might be a coincidence, but you've been in office just as long as the crisis in Kensington has been going on.
What has happened over the last 10 years, as a council person, I'm one of 17 in the city. I started my legal career doing free legal services, and then I served in the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. I'm pretty familiar with most issues that go on with this city, and I have a big disagreement over policy on things like Kensington Avenue.
It's funny that you say you're familiar with these issues when you told me personally that you weren't familiar with this particular method and pretty much said it was impossible by saying it's up to the state lawmakers. Why don't you negotiate with them? As the mayor of Philadelphia, wouldn't you think this is an important issue to bring up to the state lawmakers? I think so.
People are dying for a different approach. They have seen this failure, they're disgusted by it, and they find it to be absolutely against common sense.
I'm starting to think that you don't see these people as having a problem, but you see them more as the problem. I understand that this could be a burden to the residents of Kensington, but these people are not just disposable. The way you talk about it is very insensitive, and it seems like you don't care how you clean up Kensington, if it's ethical or not.
So what is the policy? The policy is, for example, that our police are told not to arrest drug dealers because somebody figures that drug addicts need to get drugs, and the only place they get it from are from drug dealers.
It turns out there is no policy that states that police officers cannot arrest drug dealers. In fact, in June alone, there was 175 people arrested in Kensington after a warrant sweep. And as for people needing drugs, I'm assuming you're talking about the argument where people could die from an opiate withdrawal, which is actually scientifically true. But since your claims about this policy are fabricated anyway, I'm not even going to argue that point. Now, this is where things get a bit confusing, to say the least. Take a listen.
So, not arresting drug dealers and not arresting drug-addicted persons, well, how do they get their money? Well, most of them prostitute. And so, if you cut off their supply of money, which is from the people who come here from all over the place looking for victims.
They're coming here for victims? Like victims of prostitution? Like, didn't you just say that the drug addiction is the reason why the prostitution is happening?
The explosion of drug addiction and everything that is associated with it, including violent crime, prostitution.
Don't you think getting to the root of the drug addiction problem will solve the prostitution problem?
Looking for young women and young men and boys and girls, whatever else they can find, well, then this becomes the best place if you're that far gone in your addiction.
Now, this is the point in the video where I realize that David O is just saying anything to try to sound good. He keeps throwing around words like addiction and victim and enforcement, but really, when you listen to it all together, it doesn't make much sense. He's just throwing around key words and hoping that nobody actually tries to listen to what he's saying.
If you want to come to a place where you can be left alone, not harassed, go get your drugs, not be bothered, shoot up in front of police, prostitute, and all that stuff, this is the place.
Again, like I said, just a bunch of lip service of things that people have been complaining about for the last decade. He keeps saying that this is the place for this drug addiction problem, as if there is a place for it in our society. He doesn't seem to want to actually solve the problem of drug addiction, but just push it somewhere else.
They will also do things like give you blankets and give you food and try to give you a certain level of care that is enough to keep you addicted and going on in your addicted life on the streets of Philadelphia for years.
Who's they? The policies in place? You're saying that the policies in place are designed to keep them addicted for years? You haven't even the slightest clue of what policies exist.
And and it is a big problem. What I will do is I will shut down open-air drug dealing.
Now, I'm trying to take this as serious as possible, and I'm trying to show David O a little bit of respect. But this next part, I really genuinely think that he just came up with on the spot.
Is that hard? It's not hard at all. They're doing it right out in the open. Through the use of drone technology, I will come out, we will observe them, we will record them, we will videotape them, and then we will go up and we will let them know first, like, this is a new day.
That's right, everyone. Drone technology. We're going to catch those drug dealers on camera. And when we do, we're not just going to, arrest them. We're going to go and tell them that it's a new day. But seriously, this has got to be the most impractical idea for any drug bust ever. It just sounds like a program where money could easily be embezzled. I mean misplaced. This could easily be done with undercover sting operations, but I guess David O is afraid he might shoot at them too.
You're not going to do this anymore. The most important thing is to communicate to them that these things will not be tolerated. After that, we will begin to enforce the law.
Okay, so far we got this. So basically, anyone who's addicted to drugs gets arrested. Anyone who's standing on a corner could potentially get arrested for prostitution. You're going to have drones spying on people, and drug dealers are going to be told it's a new day.
No more open-air drug dealing. No more public injection of heroin or other drugs. No more public nodding off and being out of control. No more wandering into the streets. No more living in tents and defecating on people's property. No more Johns riding around looking for prostitutes. No more illegal dumping. No more tractor-trailer parking. None of that stuff will be tolerated. Every criminal law, every public safety law, every quality of life law will be enforced. And I will have the police officers to do it.
Okay, well, there you go. That's David O's Kensington policy. As you can see, there's no glimpse of rehab or rehabilitation whatsoever in that. So if you care about Kensington and you want there to be an actual change, vote for Joseph Tartaglia for Philadelphia mayor on November 7th. Thank you and have a good day.